The truth is, the Torah does not have different branches of Judaism. At Mount Sinai, we were all Sephardic. Why? We're all in the desert. Ashkenazis won't survive the desert. There's no gefilte fish in the desert. No, but the point is, Rabotai Be'emet, at Mount Sinai, everyone was the same. Everyone was the same. Now, there were different traditions and cultures as we spread among the four corners of the world. There's Ashkenazi Jewry, there's Yemenite, there's Moroccan, there's Litvish, all types of things. But still, Judaism per se stayed the same. They were just different customs. Now, those customs are perfectly kosher. If you are Ashkenazi and your favorite fish is a gefilte fish, you like to eat it, no problem. It's perfect mitzvah for you to eat it. You like to eat chemi, the people from Tripoli and from Morocco, you want to eat something spicy on Shabbat, no problem. That's a mitzvah also. You want to, if you're Ashkenazi, you watch kitniot, you don't eat kitniot on Pesach, no problem, that's a masoret that you have. Those are customs within the same Judaism that's existed for the last 3,300 years. Now, unfortunately, what's happened over the last couple of hundred years is a movement called the Askala, the Enlightenment, which is the birth of Reform Jewry. Now, Reform Jewry, the only thing that's Jewish about it is the word Jewry. The rest of it is nothing to do with Judaism. Why? In order to be qualified as a kosher Jew, you have to fulfill the mitzvot, and you have to have a certain belief system, which requires you to believe the written Torah and the oral Torah. Reformed do not believe in either one. They don't believe. They tell you outright. They don't believe in oral or written Torah. So there's nothing Jewish about them. Similar to Messianic Judaism. Messianic Judaism is just another name of Christianity. The only thing that's Jewish about it is the name Judaism. The people that run it and are behind it and what they practice and how they believe in Yoshke, there's nothing Jewish about it. It's anti-Torah. Conservative, 70 years ago, 80 years ago, conservative Jewish was very similar to what modern Orthodox is today. Meaning, it had many of the foundational principles of Judaism. They kept Shabbat, they kept kosher, they put on tefillin, they prayed. They didn't accept women inside a minyan. They didn't accept women as rabbis. 70 years ago, they weren't very, very different from modern Orthodoxy today. In fact, they were probably more modest than modern Orthodoxy today. What happened about 70, 60 years ago? They wanted to grow their community by becoming more united with other lost Jews. How could they do it? Tell everybody that everyone is allowed to go to Beit Knesset on Shabbat, even if it means you're going to drive on Shabbat. Meaning, they took the Torah, put it in a toilet, and they invented a new Torah. They said you're allowed to drive on Shabbat. Why? Because they wanted to be united, but in their own way, not in a Torah way. They brought the Torah down to people instead of bringing people up to the Torah. Now you would think this would work, this would get them to become bigger and more successful and eventually more religious, right? Well, history says the opposite. 70 years have passed, or 65 years have passed since they've done this. Today, the head rabbi of the conservative movement in Eretz Yisrael, which is their most religious branch, is openly homosexual. The head rabbi is openly homosexual male. They accept same-sex marriage. Shabbat is not Shabbat. Everybody drives on Shabbat. Intermarriage is allowed. Everything is allowed. There's simply very little difference between conservative and reform today. Some conservative, eventually, they wake up, they become more studious, and they leave, and they join orthodoxy, but it's very few and far in between. The point being is that this is also, again, it's not a version of Judaism. It's a version of heresy that calls itself Judaism. Now what is the legitimate Judaism? Judaism is, in essence, someone that keeps Torah and mitzvot. How are you going to label them? Someone that's a Haredi, someone that's ultra-Orthodox, that's someone that is, in essence, representing that he keeps all of the laws. So what is modern Orthodox? Modern Orthodox means that they keep some of the mitzvot. Some of the things that they want to modernize, to become more applicable to today, they choose not to, such as modesty. Modesty in modern Orthodox communities is virtually non-existent. You will see the actual rebbitzins, the rabbaniot of the rabbis, walk into shul sometimes less modest than some of the members. No sleeves, short skirts, all types of things that I don't want to give you the imagination, but nonetheless, everyone understands what modesty is. You have to cover yourself as a woman, as a man, but a woman obviously must cover at least 6 inches below the bottom of our knee is the minimum, not necessarily the goal. It should be even longer. Your clothes shouldn't be tight. Your clothes should cover your elbows. You obviously have to behave a certain way. You have to cover your hair and so on and so forth. The point being is that many people within the modern Orthodoxy world simply have taken the modesty and threw it in the garbage. Now, I thought this was the worst part, but there was a research that came out 2 years ago, 2017, by a modern Orthodox Jew. And he reported that after doing research on nearly 4,000 people in the modern Orthodoxy world, which is a lot, it's a big part of the group, he discovered that nearly 50% of the modern Orthodox women do not go to the mikveh. Do not go to the mikveh, meaning that almost half the kids coming from modern Orthodoxy are isure karet, isure nida. Meaning the parents should be killed by Hashem the moment they're together because she didn't go to the mikveh. Not going to the mikveh and being with your husband is death penalty. To such an extent, the Chachamim saying that every time you do it, you're simply a miracle that you're alive. That you didn't die on the spot. Girlfriend, boyfriends don't exist in Judaism. Either you're married, you're not married. Either you're tameh or you're ta'or. It's very black and white in certain areas. Aside from that, the same study said that nearly half of the modern Orthodoxy members in this study do not believe in Hashgacha Pratit, do not believe that God supervises everything. This qualifies them as 100% heretics. You cannot count them in minyan. You cannot count such a person in minyan who does not believe that Hashem supervises everything. That's a kofir. It's a kofir ba'ikar. That's like an idol worshiper. Half of them admit they don't believe in it. They don't believe that Hashem supervises everything. They have doubts. Or they don't believe at all. But they still call themselves modern Orthodox. This is from a study. It's not from me. You could actually find this study on the internet for free. You can read it yourself. It's like 85, 90 pages. It gets worse than what I'm saying to you. Point is, what happened? They made the same mistake over the last 30, 40 years. Modern Orthodoxy changed drastically. It's not the same as it was 30 years ago, 40 years ago. What did they do? They made the same mistake that the conservatives made 70 years ago. They started cutting a few mitzvot. A few things here, a few things there, a few here, a few there. Little by little, it's becoming a different religion. Same thing with, unfortunately, many of these people that we argue about all the time, that they want to be nice to people by telling them that everyone is going to heaven. So I asked a Rosh Yeshiva that says this. You say that everybody goes to heaven. So I asked him, what about the people that live their entire life violating the entire Torah? Do they go to heaven also? He said, yes. I said, you're kofel. We cannot count you in minyan. You touch wine, cannot drink from it. It's like an idol worshiper touched it. He's part of one of the biggest movements in Judaism today, this guy. So, point is, Rabotai Karim, people are confused at what Judaism really is. Judaism does not have a label. But unfortunately, we live at a time that you must have a label in order for us to know if you're actually Jewish or not. Because if you're anything else other than Haredi, other than you're 100% going to keep the entire Torah, you're questionable. The Gemara, Masechet Bechorot, page 30b, says, if an idol worshiper comes to you, says, I want to convert. I believed in Yoshke my whole life. I don't believe in him anymore. I want to convert. It's mitzvah for converts. He says, okay, do you accept this? 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 Yes. Okay, since you live in the exile, the rabbis put a law a fence around the fence that if you live in the exile, you have to keep 2 Yom Tovs. Rabbinical law. It's not a biblical law, it's a rabbinical law. You accept this? He says no. Gemara says we reject him. Don't accept him. Why? He rejected one of the rabbinical laws. Gemara says no. It's not just he rejects one of the rabbinical laws. Even if he rejects a chidush from one of the sages, we don't allow him to convert. Then the Gemara continues. Says, okay, what about if he already converted? And now he's becoming like modern. He says we consider him like he's an idol worshiper. He's a Jew, but he's like an idol worshiper. He's like a Mechalet Shabbat. Okay, what about if he's already Jew, born a Jew? Born a Jew. Why? We're discriminating against the converts? What if he's born a Jew, but he says, you know what? I like your shiur, I like your Torah, but I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to keep Yom Tov twice while I'm living in America or in Europe. I don't think I'm going to do that. It's not for me. It's not for me. Gemara says, if he says that, we consider him as if he's violating the entire Torah. Why? Because he's already deciding ahead of time he's not going to keep something. It's not that if he fails at something, then we think he failed at everything. No, everybody fails. Nobody else is perfect. It's that he decided to fail. He decided he's not going to keep a certain mitzvah. From that point on, until he does full tshuva, we consider as if he's not even keeping Shabbat. That's what the Gemara says. The point being, Rabotai, Charidi doesn't mean what color clothes you have. You could wear blue, you could wear white, you could wear black, you could wear burgundy. Your clothes, as far as the colors, don't make you Charidi. What makes you Charidi is you're charet for Hashem. You are zealous for Hashem. You know this mitzvot, you know it, you do it. And you learn more every day. And you do more every day. And you improve yourself every day. That is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. And if you do that, you're going to actually get other people to do it. How do we know? The only sect of Judaism that survived all of these 3,000 years is the religious people. Every sect of our people that went off the derech, the Sadducees, the Batracees, the Reform, all of the ones that existed in the past, they all died. All of them died. There's been, what do you think, Reform and Conservative are the first people that started something new? No, the ones before them died. And new ones arrived. The only ones that survived 3,000 years are the Haredim. The story of Hanukkah, who wins the war? The secular people with the missiles, or the few rabbis that kept Torah and mitzvot with no weapons? The rabbis. That's who survived. So that point is, Rabotai, is that yes, the rabbis survived, but sometimes their grandkids did not keep what the rabbi did, what the grandfather did, and they went off the derech, and they started a new cult within Judaism. But the point being, Rabotai, is that the only ones that are guaranteed eternity are the religious Jews that keep the entire Torah. Everyone else, they're living on borrowed time. They should thank the religious ones because the only reason the world exists is for them. So now, to be Haredi doesn't mean you have to wear a black and white. You don't have to look like a penguin if you don't want to. You could wear blue. You could wear green. The only requirement for your clothes is for it to be modest. You have to be modest. You have to look presentable. Why? You're representing God, the King of Kings. That means you have to look like you are the son of God, not the son of Jose, not the son of Yoshke, not the son of Mustafa. You have to look like the son of God. So that means that you have to look a certain way. Man, woman, same thing. You should be proud of it. Your father is the King of Kings. Sometimes kids show off who their father is. Oh, my father is an engineer. My father is a doctor. My father is he's a diamond dealer. My father has 3 buildings. My father has 2 buildings. My father has no car. My father has nothing. Everyone has something to say about their father. Rabotai, your father is the King of Kings. Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Act like it. Be proud of it. Represent it. A woman tells you, why are you covering your head looking like you just came from the desert? Because I am the daughter of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's the King of Kings. And he told me that if I'm married, I have to wear a crown. So until further notice, this is the crown that I have. Once Mashiach comes, I'll put some diamonds on it. The point is, Abutai, you should never ever be embarrassed for wearing a kisui rosh. You're representing the King of Kings. You should never be embarrassed of wearing a kippah. You're representing the King of Kings. You should never be embarrassed of looking religious. You're representing the King of Kings. But that's the problem with modernizing. When we modernize, what are we constantly comparing ourselves to? The goyim. We wear the clothes of the goyim. We act like the goyim. Every day we compare ourselves. Do I look goy enough? Do I look like Mustafa enough? Do I look like, JC enough? Do I look like him? That's what we're comparing ourselves to. We look at movie stars. We look at sports stars. We look at all types of celebrities that make 1.5 million sins a second. And we compare ourselves to them. Instead of comparing ourselves to the Ben Ish Chai, to the Khatam Sofer, to Rav Ovadia, Rav Eliashiv, Moshe Rabbeinu, Rabbi Akiva, who we're comparing ourselves to? Some tameh, some impure beast that is an excuse of a human being. That's what we're comparing ourselves to. We want to make our hair like him. We want to have our clothes from him. Oh, what are you wearing? Fendi? Yeah, Kanye likes Fendi. Shem Yirachem. What are we comparing ourselves to? Shem Yirachem. That's what we're comparing ourselves to. Some tameh, some impure person that makes us 1.5 million sins a second. Instead of comparing ourselves to holy people, people that spoke to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, people that lived for HaKadosh Baruch Hu 24 hours a day, we're comparing ourselves to some murderer, had 500 abortions. That's what we're comparing ourselves to. Think about it. Think how stupid we are sometimes. We want to look like the movie star. Some woman that sells herself for free. Every night she has a new husband. That's what we're comparing ourselves to. Why? Because she's a celebrity. She was on TV 3 times. I want to look like her. I want to look like her because she's a celebrity. She was on a show where she was pretty much naked all the time and people love her for it. I want to look like her. I bet you're not going to want to look like her when she's in Gehenom and they melt her to 1.5 million pieces over and over again for eternity. As Rabbi Avraham Azulai says, every time you sinned, Hashem gives you the same punishment over and over again. It's not one punishment for one sin. It's not you wasted seed your whole life, you get one punishment. No, my friend. Every time you sin, you get another punishment all over again. Shem Yachem. When a person understands what Midat Adin is, they're not going to know what hit them. Rabbi Israel Misalan says, when you arrive at the Bet Din of Shemaim, you're not going to recognize God. You're not going to recognize God. Why are you not going to recognize God? Why? What does it mean you're not going to recognize God? He says, because in this world, all you know is Midat HaChesed. V'rachamim, the mercy of Hashem. When you go up to Shemaim, all there is Midat Adin. Judgment. You're righteous, you get heaven forever. Not righteous, you want to look like a movie star that's a tameh. You want to look one of these celebrities that's married and divorced 18 times that we know about. Had 18 boyfriends by the time she was 25, 30. You want to be like that? HaKadosh Baruch Hu Midat Adin. That's all you know. That's what Rabbi Yisrael Misalan says. That's all there is over there. It's emet. There's no excuses. There's no let me know. I didn't mean it. I didn't know. I didn't grow religious. None of that. None of that exists in Shamayim. Rabotai. That's why I don't know why people worry so much about Mashiach. Because whether Mashiach arrives in a year, in a month, and it doesn't make a difference. Judgment Day could arrive at a person's door every day. My cousin died at 23 years old 2 years ago. My other cousin died a few months ago. He's 49. My graduating class from high school, I already know over 30 kids that are not alive right now. I'm not that old. 30 kids I know that are not alive right now from my graduating class. Almost 10% of the graduating class. Do you understand? No one's guaranteeing you 120 years. No one's guaranteeing you next week even. Do tshuva today. Do tshuva today. You do tshuva today, I promise you, you're never going to regret it if it's real tshuva.